right, so yeah, I'm here to talk about upgrades, Rails, and Claude Code. So what if we could put Ruby on Rails upgrades on autopilot? Wouldn't that be awesome, right? It's like the dream. And what if that meant like we could implement something on top of Claude Code that does it for us? So that's another dream. And what if we could just open up the Claude Code console and run Rails upgrade from Rails 7.1 to 7.2, and Claude would know exactly what to do. So the demo today is that, basically, opinionated Claude Code skill that does upgrades the right way. And I'm a little biased, but the right way to us is the fast Ruby way. All right, so this is me. This is what I look like with a mustache. My wife and I have a disagreement on this. It's like she hates it, I love it. So anyway, these are my kids, and last summer I got to take them to Universal, Disneyland, 100% recommended. Take your kids there if you ever can. I'm also one of the co-organizers of Philly Ruby. Just like Scott, we are looking for speakers. So if you ever want to come to Philly, speak to our community, just reach out to me. So yeah, Umble Labs is basically consulting on AI, building custom machine learning models and AI solutions for our clients. And Fast Ruby is one of our productized services. It's basically maintenance for one-person engineering teams all the way to Fortune 500 companies. And I love the intersection between like AI and technical debt remediation. So if it could help me answer this question, it would be great, because all of our clients at some point were like, why does it take so long to upgrade Rails? And it's basically that, technical debt, maybe like clients extended Rails and monkey patched Ruby and weird stuff like that, that just makes it really hard to estimate. So that's why we came up with this idea of like an AI-enhanced upgrade roadmap that you could basically plug in your GitHub repo and it would create like an set of action steps for you to go all the way from Rails 2.3 to 8.1. And this is free, it's available, you can check it out. But yeah, then Claude Code came. And then it was like, oh, Claude Code is really good at doing a lot of things like writing code. Could it be really good at upgrading Rails? That was a question we asked ourselves, and we did a ton of research to see how we could use it to make the upgrades go faster. So for those of you who don't know, like a skill is basically a set of instructions that are repeated over and over again. And you can basically install in Claude so that it knows how to do karate and stuff like that, right? So another cool thing is that you can combine it with other skills. You can extend them. So this talk started with one skill, and then it turned into like 3 skills, because the problems that we need to solve in an upgrade are so complicated that it made sense to break them up into 3 different parts. Now, why do I need a skill? Yeah, Claude Code is great, but when you're like, upgrade Rails for me, it's going to be like, well, do I go to the next minor version? Do I go to the next major? And there's questions that it's going to ask you. And to us, it's very important that it follows this process. Like, it has to have, your application has to have a test suite, and you basically have to look at the deprecation warnings, which are awesome, especially in modern versions. And then eventually you're going to fix those deprecation warnings. You're going to try to bundle install the application with the next version of Rails, run the test suite, and eventually get to production. Now, the Claude skill that we wrote is open source. You can go check it out, use it today. And it is a very opinionated skill. So you might not agree with some of these opinions, but we know that these things are very important. So yeah, unfortunately, if your application doesn't have a test suite, this is not going to work because it relies heavily on the test suite. The other thing that it will do is like it'll strong arm Claude Code to do dual booting. And actually, this talk came from a rant that I had with one of our clients that was like, I was like, why didn't you set up Claude to do dual booting? And then I was like, oh, Claude told me that it would add too many conditionals. It's like, yeah, yes, it will, because you have a huge code base. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. So some of these judgment calls are important for us to not delegate to Claude. So we do dual boot all the things, CI, production, development. Another thing that we do is we make sure like the load defaults value is the same for your current version. Like sometimes you have load defaults with 5.0, but you're running Rails 7, so that doesn't make a ton of sense. We try to bring that up to speed. And then the other thing that was very important to us is that this skill, not only is it open source, but it also maintains like a set of steps to go all the way from Rails 2.3 to 8.1. Because there are other skills out there, but they don't cover so many jumps. And we have clients that are running Rails 3.2 on production right now, so this is very important to us. All right, so quick demo time. So one of the things I wanted to show you is that it's very straightforward, right? Like you have your home directory with .claude, and then like you have the skills directory, and basically it's like copy paste a set of markdown files. Now these are symlinks because I'm still like actively maintaining it, right? But then when you come here, oh, you were not supposed to see that, okay. I can just do that, right? Okay. So here what you can do is basically call any of these skills. Like the Rails upgrade one is going to try to do a lot of things. The Rails load defaults is going to try to do just the default things. And the dual boot is just going to set up bundler to run two sets of dependencies for you. All right. So, oops. There we go. All right. So this is a quick demo. It's a video just to show you what it does. Like you can call it without values, and I would not recommend that, but you can do it, and it'll basically do an analysis of your application, look at the load defaults, look at the current Rails version, and then it'll say like, okay, if it doesn't match, then I'm gonna have to update load defaults, and every change it does is gonna try to run the test suite to make sure it doesn't break anything. That's gonna read a bunch of files from the skill, and that's gonna come up with a plan of things to do. And by the end of this video, what it will do is it will basically set up dual booting for you. And dual booting is like a very straightforward technique. You basically have to add a few lines to the gem file that says, if you see this environment variable, use the current or use the next version of Rails. If not, use the current version of Rails. So there does a bunch of things. And then by the end of it, we should see the gem file change a little bit. All right, yeah. Well, sometimes you have to say set up dual boot first. Yeah. All right, cool. I don't know how much time we have, but I don't know if we can wait. Oh, almost there. Yeah, it does have like some weird edge cases where it will add code to it even when it shouldn't. But basically that's what it looks like. Dual booting is not like rocket science. It's just basically having a symlink called gemfile.next that points to the gem file to kind of like trick bundler into generating two different log files. And then when you use like the environment variable bundle gem file, when you run any command, it will use the Rails 7.0 instead of Rails 6.1. All right. So next steps. This works really well for test suites that are very quick, like 2 to 5 minutes. Unfortunately, if you have a test suite that runs for an hour in your local environment, this is going to be like a drag. Don't recommend it. So next step would be pretty cool if it just run like spec models, at least to get like a quick feedback on those specs. The other thing that it doesn't do that I said we do is that it should track all the deprecation warnings in the first test suite run, so that then it's like, okay, I need to upgrade all these things, and it's basically a to-do list for the agent to do things. And for now, we only have an eval system that is us as humans looking at things and being like, this is stupid, and no, you shouldn't do it that way. But it would be pretty cool to have like an eval system that says, hey, every time I ask you to set up CI for, or for running 2 test suites for 2 different jobs, but with only one environment change, just use like a matrix in GitHub Actions or whatever service you use. But yeah, it would be pretty cool to have evals for this. So my ask for you guys and gals is basically to give it a try, use it in your really old application, and see how good or bad it is. And if it's really bad, just submit an issue saying like, this is super slow, or it did this thing that it's kind of weird. And you can reach out to us on GitHub or to me on Discord. So yeah, here's the link, and thank you.